Hello, Autumn Ridge Church, and those not from Autumn Ridge who you may be looking for encouragement in this time. My name is Derek Freed. I'm one of the pastors here at Autumn Ridge, and this week's devotions we're looking at the idea of living abundantly. Now, that's a very broad idea and topic, but this morning I want to focus on what I believe is one aspect Jesus talks about when it comes to living abundantly. In John 15:11, Jesus says this, "These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be full." Jesus understands that an abundant life is one that is lived and filled with joy. No one who is miserable would say they're living abundantly. An abundant life is one that has joy in it. So if Jesus wants our joy to be full, how does that happen? What does it take to have joy that is full, to have a life that is abundant? Well, just before this, Jesus says in verses 4 and 5, "Abide in me, and I in you, as the branches cannot bear fruit by itself, unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing." For Jesus, the idea of full joy and an abundant life is one where we abide, where we live in him, in God. Our entirety of who we are is impacted, influenced, and surrounded by Jesus. And if we're abiding in Christ, then our full joy and abundant life will come out, as Jesus puts it, because we are bearing much fruit. This idea of bearing much fruit would mean that we see Christ working in our lives and making us more and more like himself. When you look at a fruit tree, we don't look at a barren tree and say it has an abundance. It's the tree with lots of fruit on it. If we want to have an abundant life in which our joy is full, it will entail abiding in Christ where we bear much fruit, where we're becoming more and more like Jesus. Because the flip side of this, apart from Jesus, we can do nothing. We're the barren tree. And so my hope and prayer is that you may find yourself abiding in Christ in this time, and in doing so, that you would bear much fruit, bringing about full joy, and ultimately finding yourself living abundantly.